always talking about how can we perfect the service and how can we perfect the ambiance. Is it cool enough? Is it bright enough? Is it comfortable enough? Is the bulletin pretty enough? Do they feel welcome? Is the praise and worship lively? Is the keyboard good? Is the organ good? Is the drumming good? Is everything? How can we do church better? And he says we focus too much on that question. We put all of our energy into trying to do church the best we can, and we call it church. And he said that the wrong question is that. The right question that we need to be asking is not how can we do church better, but how can we deconvert, and it's up there, from Churchianity to Christianity. That's the tough question. How can we be changed? How can we go from being concerned about what happens within these four walls to becoming more concerned about what is happening outside? Our mandate, according to Jesus, is go ye therefore into all the nations, baptizing in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. He did not say, therefore stay within your church. He didn't say, therefore get comfortable and baptize yourself in good music and baptize yourself in comfortable pews, preaching about how exciting church is and how wonderful we are as a congregation. He said, go. And we get stuck in being a church-tin or churchin. Let me say it how we would say, churchin. We get stuck in being churchins, and we go away from what it means to be a Christian. I am convinced that we are called to go out and to seek the lost. Now, where we get mixed up is that we say we're going out there and we're evangelizing and we're doing outreach because we want our pews to get full. Friends, that's being a church-tin, where we are so involved and so consumed by making sure all of the pews are filled, and we only see people as pew warmers. We only say we want them to come because we want them here to be packed again like it used to be. That's the wrong focus. I strongly feel that as we go out and seek the lost and seek those who need a word from God, our lives will be blessed and we will grow from the inside as a congregation. These are the tough questions the church needs to answer, because we have lost our way in a way. We have become too consumed with feeling good and being happy. But God is saying that it is deeper than that. It is more than that. I've called you for more than that. Have any of you ever seen the movie Forrest Gump? Forrest Gump? All right, raise your hand so I can know. Okay, thank you. Okay, that's just about everyone. Forrest Gump is one of my favorite movies, all right? I love it. Mama said life is always like a box of chocolate. I just love Forrest Gump. There's so much theological implications of Forrest Gump. But there's a part. You remember when Forrest went to Vietnam and it was raining from the top, it was raining from the side, it was raining even from underneath, and the rain was just coming in. And when he was in Vietnam, there's a scene where in the jungle, where the Viet Cong started was firing, like booby trapped them or something, and all of his platoon was getting shot up. And Forrest run, he remembered Jenny, run Forrest, run! And he's running, and he realized that he escaped the bullets, and when he got out of the clear, he found out that he was alone. And he's like, I gotta go get Bubba. And he went back and he went to get Bubba. And as he's trying to find Bubba, he came across a member of his platoon who was injured. And Forrest picked him up and he ran back to the opening and he dropped him down and he said, I gotta go get Bubba. And he found another member of his platoon who was injured. injured, and he picked him up, and he ran with him, and he even found good old Lieutenant Dan down in the ground. And even though Lieutenant Dan did not want to move, he was comfortable being wounded. He was comfortable being injured. Forrest picked him up and bring him to safety. And when Lieutenant Dan said, Forrest, don't go back, don't go back. And Forrest said, I gotta go get Bubba. And he ran and he tried to find Bubba. Friends, you see the theological implication when I'm talking about? That we sitting in here, we are in the clear. We are in the open. I mean, we are free. We figure that it's okay now. We're safe in here. But there's some Bubbas out there. There are people out there that we know are injured and they need to be in safe environments. And we got to be like Forrest and be willing to run and find our brothers and sisters and throw them on our shoulders, even if we got to drag them and bring them to a place of safety. You see why we got to be deconverted? I know you want to say, Rev, who is a church then? I'm glad you asked. A church then is someone who is consumed by what happens within the four walls of a church. I'm talking they consumed by it. They get happy by the rituals of the church, by the policies of the church. And they get excited that church is set up just the way they like it to be. They are so familiar with church that they know that if they come at 11:20, they know just what will be going on at that time. And they got their spot in church where they sit. I mean, the cushion already molded to their butt. Perfect for them. Friends, a churchian is someone who is so consumed by this stuff that they get upset when things change. Don't bring no dancing up in here. Don't bring no drama up in here. We ain't that type of place. You need to go around the corner and up the hill. We're Methodists up in here. And things is done in decency and in order. And we get stuck in these things, and these things are what hold us back and hold us down because we're so fixed on it. And we lose focus of what God has called us to. We say that this is how it's supposed to be. This is what it's always supposed to be. But look around our neighborhood. Our neighborhoods aren't what they used to be. If you do the same thing over and over again, you're going to get the same results. That's the definition of insanity. For church is a calamity. When you do the same thing and you're not adapting to your people around you, you are going all by yourself. A ship that has no passengers will finally run out of gas. And you will look around and you will say, where did all the people go? I don't know. They ain't in church because, anyway. There's some people who don't mind if folks ain't in church, Because we never like them type of people, Brother Sandy, coming up in our church. We ain't want none of them people coming with their little short dress and they walking left and right and shaking their engine as they walk. We ain't want none of them people with their red eye and black lip and bottom head and stuff. We ain't into none of them anyway, so let them go. This is not the place for them. This is the place for some days, some months, we can say we have a dress down Sunday, man. Where we can just come, let me wear flip-flops someday and feel good about it. Let me wear some short pants so you can see my sexy legs or something. Let me be free. So we don't get stuck and figure that in order to come, you got to have this nice, expensive dress. And you got to have the shoes to match and the bag to match. And you got to get your hair do and your nails do and get your sewing and all these type of things and stuff like that. And we get consumed and people are chased away because we're so stuck in being churches. We need to regain focus. We need to realize what God has called us to. Because even when people show up, we won't give them a hard time. Even when people come, when folks haven't been in church for a couple of weeks, a couple of months, and they show up, be like, well, where's he coming from? Where he been all this time? Where's she just coming from? And, we don't even want them to come and say this. You can't make that sound. We ain't want a crying baby. We ain't want to running children. We ain't want this. We don't want that. We don't want all of these things. Just so all we want be a church then just like us. That's all we're looking for. Now I know we are going to be working on our hospitality ministry to step up our game, not because we want to do church better, but because when people walk in the door, we want them to know that they are welcome and accepted just the way they are. And we will make sure the first faces they see is smiley faces, not no old grump up, mash up face. We want to know if they're coming to sit next to you and why are they going to sit in the back. We got all them seats in the front. How many people can sit in one back row? I'm just glad they're here. And look at them texting on their phone. I bet they're on Facebook right now. I don't care. I'm giving free internet. I'm just glad they're here. We gotta reprioritize ourselves, change our focus, do it Jesus' way. Jesus accepted them just the way they are. Jesus went looking for them. He hang with them. He sit with them. If they had dominoes back then, Jesus would have been slamming dominoes down with them. Oh my, I'm sorry. Friends, what does it mean to be a Christian? Well, by definition, say a Christian is someone who desires to be saved, to follow after Christ. Someone who put their faith and trust in the person and the work of Jesus Christ, including his death on the cross, his payment for his sins, his resurrection on the third day. All of those things. So Christianity is a lifestyle. Christian is a person. Christianity is a lifestyle. And it's a lifestyle patterned after the life of Christ. Reaching out to the hurting in the name of God, preaching the gospel to everyone, welcoming everyone into the kingdom. Going to church don't make you a Christian. Just in case you're wondering if because you show up here on a Sunday morning, you straight. I'm so sorry. That don't make you straight. Not because you come and take communion, mean you straight. Communion don't save you either, Baptism don't save you, I'm sorry. So deconvert means that we need to have a refreshing of our hearts, a changing of our hearts, a washing of our hearts from the inside. In order to shift from being a churchman to becoming a Christian, we have to deconvert ourselves. We have to strip away the things that are not of Christ. Look at everything that we do and say, is this of Christ? Would Jesus had done this? Is Jesus concerned about this? And I'm saying I have to really look at this stuff and strip away. And we have to look at our practices. And we have to look even at what we call our Christian lifestyle. And wonder if the words we say are words of God. If the lifestyles that we live. Because if I'm holy, and if in my holiness I'm only pointing out the people who are sinners and who ain't right, then I have to look at me. Because as they say, one finger pointed at you and three right back at me. And I deserve all the fingers to be pointed at me. Because I'm saying I'm struggling too. I'm just like us. We all fall short of the glory of God. We have to have a deconversion of our hearts and our minds back to the foundation of Christ. It's out there. God called us to go out there, to share his love out there. I don't know if you've ever lost anything, and it's all according to how valuable it is to you, how you will look for it. Some people go crazy, searching, trying to find it because it's so important to them. On Friday, I was coming over from 3 Island over to Harbour Island, and Pineapple Air had just come in. And this woman and a man was sitting next to me, and they were visitors, and all of a sudden, she's searching all through her stuff. She said, I left my iPad in the taxi. All my stuff, I left everything. You need to, and she's saying to the captain, you need to stop your boat, I left my iPad. And the boat captain is like, wait, okay. I think I saw which taxi dropped you off with. And don't worry, miss, don't worry. And I'm going to find your iPad for you. And he got on the phone and he started calling taxi drivers and he couldn't get through them, and she's panicking and he's saying to her, don't worry, I will get it to you. Wherever you are in Harbour Island, I will find you, I will find the iPad, and I will bring it to you. Now mind you, that's none of his business, He had a boatload of people. His pocket would have been fat. His concern was getting his passengers over on the other side. But for that moment, the most important thing for him was to find that woman's iPad, the item that was lost. In being deconverted from churchstans to Christians, it takes a change in our focus to one of mission out there. Yeah, we can get a good word in here. But I've been here now for 3 months, honeymoon period over, I guess. And I've seen a lot of hurting people. People who need to hear a good word as well. Amen. We walk around and we hug each other during fellowship, but there are people out there who need a hug. There are people out there who need someone to sit next to them and let them know that all hope is not lost. To let them know that God can change it. That God can break their situation. That God can free them from their addiction. That God who delivered us can deliver them as well. To speak life into them. We need to change our focus to one of mission. I know we say that, yes, Rev. We write our checks and we send money this place and the next place. And we send our contribution. But send ourselves. Let's go ourselves. I'm not saying we need to dress in white or we need to have street meeting every day, but our life is the meeting that people encounter. Our life is the ministry, the word that the world needs. And we have to stop saying that I'm only a Christian as long as I'm in church. Being Sunday Christians or Sunday churchstans. That we become not ashamed, and the people we hang with, the people we are around, we are able to offer them a word. We need to change our mission, our focus, to going and getting these people. And not just bringing them to fill the pew like I said, but bringing them to a place of healing. A place where they can find security and care. That life out there is hard. So at least let there be one place for 2 hours in one day that they can be distracted from the cares of their life. That for one moment in one day of the week where they can feel love, where they can feel accepted, where their gifts can be used and people aren't looking at their past. And people aren't looking at the struggles of their present. And people aren't proclaiming damnation on their future. But a place where they can just be children of God, just like us. Man, don't go quiet on me, man. I want this thing to be real. For us to know that God has called us for moments such as this. It is said, and you probably heard this, that the Chinese word crisis in Mandarin is made up of two root words. One root word is that it is now a critical point, and the next word is opportunity. I know some people say that it's danger and opportunity. Danger is wrong, okay? It's a critical point. That this is a time of crisis. And crisis is a critical point where you have the opportunity to act and to respond. And our community, and I say our, because my family is fully here just like your family, where our community is at a point of crisis. It's at a critical point where we have the opportunity to respond, where we have the opportunity as a church to make a difference, to be leaders. If local government don't do it, if central government don't do it, if the foreigners don't do it, we got to do it. The church has to have a place in the community for positive, not just to have a good time and take people money, but for us to make a difference in the community, to stand together and say, you know what, if they don't want to come together, we will work together to make it happen in our community. If the school don't have the supplies, we will have a fundraiser as a church to put the supplies there, because if our kids don't have it, our kids will be lost. And so I was going to save the life of our children. If marriages are falling apart, us in the church who are married, we will be beacons, and we will give hope, and we will offer counseling to those whose marriages are falling apart. If young men are losing their lives to drugs, we will say, I'm a man and I survived alcohol and drugs. So I will stand by the side of a young person, and I will walk with him, and I will tell him, if you ever need anything, come and call me. There's so many women who are giving away their lives to addiction and to men and to other things. Well, the women who feel like they're so good, then they should stand by the side of some of these young women and say, hey baby, don't worry about that. I'm going to be with you. I'm going to stand by your side. I'm going to support you. The church has to stand for something, my friends. I'm serious, you know. I ain't just preaching to sound good, you know. This is really what we need. Who will stand? Who will stand for me in Harbour Island? Who? I mean, you talk the talk, but would you stand when it's time to put your arms to the wheel? When the work needs to be done, when lives are being lost, when people are dying, when we're losing so many around us, when the enemy seems to come like a flood, who will stand in the gap? Who will be the ones? And friends, I want you to know in closing that there are people even among us who feel like they are lost, who feel like they are the sheep, that one who no one is checking for. That even though they come to church week after week, no one is even willing to walk across the aisle. That no one is even willing to offer a hug or a positive word. That people are wondering, when will they move away all of the junk and all of the formality? And when will they find me? When will they see me for who I am rather than looking on the outside? They see my heart and my potential. So even the work starts within us and among us. And God is calling on us all to renew our commitment to Him, to begin that work and allow God to finish it through us, to stand up and to step to the plate. God is calling on us to stop asking the wrong question of how can church be better, but for us to answer the tough question, how can I be deconverted from churchianity, and to accept